of the fondest memories that I have when I was growing up was about the place where we lived. My father was a dentist by profession, but by avocation he was a farmer. He had been born and raised in the hills of Virginia, and the land was part of who he was. And I had the privilege of spending land time with my dad. And I really think that that love for the land, that love of the outdoors, just got into my blood. It's an essential piece of who I am. And I got that from him. We would go riding. He had a Tennessee Walker horse, and I had a Shetland pony, and we would ride over the farm. It was 15, 20 acres. We would go fishing if I bugged him enough. Come on, Dad, let's go fishing. Take him fishing. And we would go fishing. And he always rowed the boat. He didn't fish, I did. But we loved being together, and we loved doing things together. He never talked to me about the love of the land. He never explained any of that. We just did it. And I caught it by osmosis from my father and spending time with him. We have two stories of transformation this morning: Moses and Jesus. Both are transformed by the time they spend with God, the intimacy that they have with God. Moses comes down the mountain and he is changed. Is it as obvious as the story tells it? Probably not in the same way, but the people who knew Moses knew he had been changed. And the impact of that change continued to impact on the life of Israel throughout the rest of Moses' life. He was changed. Jesus goes with his disciples up a mountain to pray, to spend some time with God. And he is transformed. He is changed. And it's a rich reading that is just filled with all kinds of spirituality and theology. All I wanted to do is simply to point out that those two people are changed by their time with God. And that change continues to impact on the people that come into contact, both with Moses and with Jesus. I had the privilege of being part of a conference last week, a long, packed conference going from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Just brain is fried. It was on fresh expressions of the church, planting new churches. And really the focus was that the task of the church is making disciples. It's all about discipleship making. And I think that what happened to Moses, what happened to Jesus, is the invitation for us to enter into that kind of experience. To enter into a relationship with Jesus, and the more I read, the more I know, the more I try to uncover the historical Jesus, the more I am drawn in to want to follow in those footsteps. To partner with Jesus in the work of giving flesh, making visible God's kingdom. That's what we're all about. And one of the pieces, and I've been trying for days to remember it so I could give it to you accurately, and I cannot remember because it was so tightly written. But it said, in effect, that nothing is going to change in terms of the life of the church until we begin to walk that walk with Jesus, until we begin to give flesh, give visibility to the kingdom that Jesus brought, to the kingdom that Jesus died for. But when we do that, we will be changed. When we do that, the people in this area will see a difference in this community. They will continue to see people who care, people who make a difference, people who even get medals for doing it. But we will make an impression. And people will see, as they did in Jesus, what God's kingdom is really all about. They'll see something that they desperately need and want. And they'll discover that the only place they can get it is here, where it's lived, where it's shared, where it's talked about, and where it's supported. Let's dare to allow the gospel, let us dare to allow the Spirit of Jesus Christ to change us, to mold us, and to enable us to be more visibly, more clearly, the presence of God's kingdom in this place. And then we will become the instruments of